All right, welcome back. We're back in Roadwarden, and I named the stream. What is it? What did I name it? I don't even know. Something about weaker than foxes, because in our last stream we found out that apparently my character does not stand a chance against a couple determined foxes. They brought me to the verge of death, and I only barely escaped. So we'll bear that in mind as we move forward in the game. But yeah. Okay, here we are. Hopefully everything's working fine. I think so. Okay. Fogs carry magical pneuma. They enhance spellcasters' talents, but also awake any human corpse they touch. They are rare in spring and common during fall. Wait, a fog awakens human corpses? Oh, okay. All right, let's continue. Okay, if I remember correctly, we came here to sleep, and let's look at the map actually, and to rest, because we had our health was so low after the fox encounter. But we did go to the old tunnel, and we explored that pretty well. But yeah, we're at the lake. The tavern set at the northern crossroads, a poorly protected shelter used by hunters and foragers. Okay. Food is kind of okay. Let's see, wait, if I click, I'd like to eat. Oops. Oh, well. You know, wait a second. My vitality should be higher than this. I could have sworn my vitality was higher, but maybe I'm just misremembering. It's okay. All right. Okay, she the woman that runs this gives me another bowl of gruel. Once you're done, Foggy packs the leftovers for you as snack for the rest of the day and mentions that you've already paid for another 2 meals. All right, let's learn about the tavern. I don't think we asked. Her fingers tap on her chest loudly. Nah, I find no pleasure in talks that serve no reason. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go now. Duskrunner is lazily looking around. Before we get too crazy, maybe it's worth looking in our journal to see how many quests we have. This one I don't think has anything specific I can do. It's more of a record of what I'm discovering along the way. A new life. So like improving with the Merchant Guild. I haven't made any progress on this. The Roadwarden, according to Akakios, Asterion bought a sickle sword from him. Pathfinders use them to cut through thickets. Howler's Dell has banished Asterion. She believes I should look for him in the northern villages. Yeah, Asterion was last seen in White Marshes, a village in the northwest, which I haven't found yet, because every path I try to take is blocked. So we'll figure that out later. Bird hunting in Foggy's Tavern to join them on their hunt. Oh, but I have to... Oh, wait, could I go with them today, actually? Maybe I could do that. Let's try it. One of them tells a story, but stops once you approach them. Ilan frowns. Eh? Oh yeah, the traps. We need the traps for going to... I don't know, for in the tunnels, maybe. Why? You're catching a hare or a stoat. When you explain what you've seen in the tunnel, Ilan looks around. Oh dear, he whispers. You better look for some big traps. Asks Ephron, maybe. From Creeks, he's a real hunter. Okay, I don't know where Creeks is, but... They won't be ready to start the hunt for 4 more days. Okay, that's right. I'm also too tired to hunt? Is that my vitality? So, Caius, your boss told me you have some sort of visions. He meets your eyes and straightens up, reaches out to you with his dirty hand. What? I'll allow him. It rests on your shoulders, light like a bird. Your nose tells you that he hasn't washed in quite a few days. Well, neither have I. All right. Like, I'm stained with blood. The right hears the prayers of the people. I mean, of the 10 cities, all the tribes, and the empress and priests, merchants, farmers. We thought things were lost, the glory behind us, punished by humiliation for our weak hearts. He starts to shake his stump a foot away from your face. But there's hope. His voice gets stronger with every heartbeat, and a wide smile shows up under his beard. The right's test is behind us, and we, the sinners, have failed it. Now are the days of atonement, and of the new cities, with new tribes and the cleansed land. We, you know, have to fix things, fix ourselves, change what we can, weed out our sins, and bring fresh hearts to the holiest soul carrier, and let them guide us anew, with the new tablets and prayers and a new church. The only church, yes. He steps in place, bursting with excitement. All the rivers will flow as one wave, and the new cities, the reborn city, will wipe out the barbarians. He spits on the ground, and send them back into their chains. He points his hand south. We will come through the ashes, reborn into a power greater than any fortress, than 1,000 dragons, than all the ships and armies. He steps back, lowering his head. I, the humble servant, was granted this vision. No, I'm just going to be like, yeah, sure. Great, dude. I mean, I don't know if visions are real or not in this world. You know, I don't have any reason to be skeptical. At least not yet. He turns away from you and approaches the wall. Take this word and carry it in your heart and on your lips. Be a part of the wave that swallows the faithless. Tizvi presses a clenched fist to his lips, stopping himself from laughter, while Ilan looks at the prophet with concern. Don't encourage him, friend. It's not right. Okay. Well, there we go. There we go. If I rest, I will actually get some vitality back. I'm just going to do that because I don't have any other better way of getting my vitality. And I'm worried about what I'm going to encounter on the road. So let's do one more day of rest. There we go. It's been a lazy day repairing your equipment and taking care of your mount. Didn't take nearly as much time as you'd expected, and you instead enjoyed some refreshing water. Blah, blah, blah. Time for me to go. Let's travel. Oh, wait, no, it's... Hold on, wait. I didn't sleep. I should sleep. Just sleep on the ground. The rains once again hit the ground, interrupting your sleep. You lose your senses right after you lie down. In the middle of the warm, stuffy night, you are entangled by your dreams, too tired to fully wake up, too accustomed to having a mid-sleep break to just get back to sleep. You are between the realms, surrounded by visions so vivid you are tempted to reach out, touch them, and stretch them out. They are your playground. What is... Okay, once I realize I'm in power, I do my best to enjoy myself. I fly, defeat dragons, eat and drink whatever I can. Oh, hey, Vlad, what's up? You should sleep if you haven't slept. Do go to bed? Well, no. In real life, I am sleeping, just so you know. But, yeah. We do need to take care of our virtual self as well. I wouldn't dare disturb the natural flow of dreams. My nightmares interfere with even the most joyful dreams. Why would I choose that? just to make the game harder, I guess. Maybe it doesn't matter what I choose. I don't know. I chose the dragons one. Like, it was like, what is that called? Lucid dreaming? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did my vitality go down? I'm dumb. Oh, that is so annoying. if I... All right, I'm leaving. I can't. Well, I just wasted a day. Let's just keep going to the right. 827, what's up? You're not often lost with the word, so I guess can count that as a win. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't realize that when you sleep, if you sleep on the ground, you lose vitality. And so I rested to get vitality, and then I slept on the ground, so I lost it. So it's like I wasted the whole day, and I wasted a ration because I lost half my nourishment just for being alive for a day. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, right now the game feels a little too punishing, but maybe it'll be worth it in the end. I mean, like the foxes just were like the nail in the coffin. I was just like, here I am. Finally, I'm getting a taste of adventure and action. And then the foxes just completely own me. And I'm like, why play a game where your character is just the weakest, most pathetic, like you can't do anything? That's how I feel in this game right now. I don't feel like I've done anything. But who knows? Maybe things will turn around. Also, I chose to be a mage, but I haven't been able to use my spells like at all, except to cast a light. So I could use a light like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria, like, I mean, that it's cool, but I'm kind of, I feel like I'm thirsty for some real gameplay, and we haven't gotten that yet. But yeah. Here we go. The road east is beaten and clean, with enough space to fit 2 wagons side by side. You pass by a few plum trees, apple trees, and cherry trees, but many more stumps, likely belonging to what has been turned into Foggy Lake. The life in the plains is busy and loud, but so far you don't see any lurking beasts, judging by the many trampled parts of the meadows and the fresh food trails. The foragers search this corner of the peninsula quite often. You reach a shining pond at the edge of the forest. You ride beneath 2 trimmed trees growing on the opposite sides of the path, like columns leading to Right's temple. Shouts and heavy steps prepare you for trouble ahead. Well, I'm almost dead, so I can't really do much. 2 shells are circling around each other. One of them is a 4-legged saurian with dark gray skin, as long as your palfrey, but only knee-high. It's wandering left and right along the bank, hissing, repetitively sticking its split tongue out, and then retracting it. The stout monster doesn't look like a born hunter of humans, but its long tail is swinging like a whip. For now, only threateningly so, but you don't doubt that getting hit by it would likely break your bones. The second one belongs to a brown-skinned man wearing leather pants, a long brown woolen cloak, and the matching pelt of a wolf on his head and shoulders, like a haunting hood. His voice is both gentle and scared, and he's stretching his hands in front of him, trying to make the beast stay away as if it's a mouflon. A third shell is right in the middle between the other 2, a creature you don't recognize from a distance, but it is in a puddle of its own blood and isn't moving. Well, I'm not going to help him. I've learned my lesson trying to intervene or do anything with animals. You stand up in the saddle to have a better view and realize that the corpse on the ground is but that of a white ibex. The man, who acknowledges your presence with a nod, speaks with a hint of playfulness in his voice, asking the saurian to be so nice as to stay away. He then turns towards you and points at the prey. "Friend, lend me a hand, will you? I'm trying to seize it." As you dismount, the saurian takes a step closer to the pond. I'm gonna be... Wait, who am I... Just step away. I'm not going to help you die for a scrap of meat. That's actually what I think we should do in this case, because I'm going to die. Well, thanks a lot for that. He takes a deep breath and looks at you as if preparing for a harsh riposte, but then shrugs and steps away from the corpse. The constantly jumping hat of his, with the loose jaw and dead eyes, makes it difficult to focus on his face. "My home is this way, in creeks. Are you coming?" Before you answer, he turns around and heads uphill. The saurian observes him for a bit, but you can't read anything in its eyes. Once you grab the reins and lead your mount forward, the beast doesn't waste any time. It puts the ibex's head into its mouth as if it's trying to swallow the entire creature at once. I catch up with the man. You leave the pond behind and approach the woods. Even from a distance, you can see a distinct trail leading between the trees. It's not a forest garden, but it's not bad. With every word, the man's voice gets more cheerful. It's not that gloomy, and I haven't seen a cat there in a year. But with no cats, there are boars there now. And as there are boars, there are also more gargoyles, he sighs. His steps get lighter, and so he leaps forward and bows to you, showing you the tip of its furry hood. What? Its furry hood? I thought it's his furry hood. Is it meaning the animal? That was... Okay. Better not go too deep, kind traveler. There are no roads there. His face is not much older than 20, shaved with great care. Cleaner even than among the city folk. While his hood and heavy cloak mask his figure, he seems well-fed and healthy. I'm not a pathfinder. The wilderness isn't for me, or, well, one can never know where their path will lead them. Aye, the spirits can be nastier than a sack of ape shit. But from all the places, I'd be glad to be led to creeks. We don't starve. The work is hard, and there are no merchants above us. And it's a gorgeous place, you know. You'll love it. I'm sure I will. The road is gentle, but the man is incapable of being silent. Every unusual tree seems to be tied to a story from his life, and he makes sure that you notice the first stream you cross on a new solid bridge. One of many creeks, you see, he says with untamed amusement. Okay, that's kind of cringy. That's why we're named creeks, because look at all the creeks. A thin gorge leads you between the mountains. This place is quite susceptible to bandits. It truly feels like an end of the realm. I'll say that. You follow the trail of shouts and laughter. 7 people, about 20 years old each, are gathered at the wooden bridge, leaning against the railing, bathing in the stream, lying on the grass. Pieces of clothing made of fur and leather are spread around next to cudgels and throwing clubs. Once the sound of hooves manages to break through the chattering, the curious young eyes, untouched by wartime, turn towards you, and an excited whisper spreads. The shells are proudly displayed, and the confident smiles are both inviting and challenging. How's water? The hunter greets his tribesfolk while stepping on the logs. Gentle and warm, says a man resting on his friend's shoulder. Caught any squirrels? There are paths leading in many directions, but the main road will take you uphill. Awkward, as I walk past the naked people, I look at the watchtower. There's no reason for me to be embarrassed. I look at them. The light dances on wet hair, both on their heads and crotches, luring your eyes just as much as the revealed chests and muscular arms. You've interrupted not just their bath. The soul who's speaking with your guide is embracing another man as he's sitting behind him, while one of the women is keeping her arm around the waist of yet another man. You hardly see any wounds or marks caused by sickness. The harshest days of this group are still ahead. As you move your eyes from one person to another, they greet you with kind nods, but you notice that the ones standing on the bridge are holding their breath and leaning away. You notice your own scent, and once you step off the logs, the hunter chuckles. Seeking warmth, eh? Don't worry, you can always wash yourself in here. I nod to the group, then follow the man. The palisade is as tall as trees, but being placed on the top of the crags makes it look impassable. What? Why is the gate closed? The hunter turns to the watchtower and repeats his question, only louder. Maybe call Ella? Too blind to see we have a guest, eh? A hardly visible guard with a female voice leans from the tower. He's coming, Howler, relax. Her shouts hint of no patience toward him. The youth dine in the woods after the bath. Why wouldn't we close? The man glances at you. Who's Ella? I whisper. Just my brother. He gestures for you to ignore it. And I'm Ephraim. So thanks to our parents, folks keep mistaking our names, but Ella has a stick in his ass and is as boring and nagging as a legless donkey. The soul from the tower hides again, and the gate opens. We enter the village. The sparse clumps of grass survive only on the edges of this spacious yard. The few onlookers wear working clothes, suitable for their hard labor, but they're carrying tools, planks, and logs. You're next to a large building of unusual shape, either a temple or a house of gathering. It makes you think of a cabin that's been getting larger over the course of the years, with the sections in the middle being darker and more crude than the outer ones. A slightly overweight man is standing in front of the building with open arms. Welcome to the creeks, friend. His voice and eyes are gentle. but there's vigor in his stance and gestures. Ephron was meant to hunt, but I see he brought a very unusual creature. The hunter rolls his eyes. Don't embarrass us with this prattle. He then raises his voice. I almost brought us an ibex, but this traveler was no help. Long story. At least I tried. Ella's smile gets replaced by a raised eyebrow. I trust you made the right decision, friend. While I introduce myself, I observe him more closely. Being close to 30 years old, he's one of the older souls around. Just like the other villagers, he has clothes made of animals, not plants. The leather pants and jacket are humble, but the shoulder cape reaching from his neck to elbows used to belong to a yellow elk. His brown skin is darker than that of a farmer, and as you look at the outreached hands, they carry the marks of being cut by tools. And I'm Ella, the carpenter. He takes a step toward the fruit trees and invites you to move forward. Like most men in the village, he's cleanly shaved. How about I show you the rest of the village? It may be humble, but it's as beautiful as a blue starling. I'll be friendly. Thanks, Ella. That sounds lovely. Or what's the witty comment? Oh, I already had an opportunity to see some of your beauties. That's just weird. Don't say that. As he grins, you notice his unusually white teeth. He moves with heavy but enthusiastic steps. It won't really take that long, but we have quite a view. The hunter gives you an embarrassed look. Don't indulge him too much, friend, he says without lowering his voice. He'd be proud of a falling wheelbarrow. Let's take a stroll then, says Ella as he leads you forward. Your mount can drink at the creek here. Come, Dusk Runner. You tether your mount to a tree, next to drying laundry. Ella points at the land behind the bridge proudly. Our newest addition to the village. The hunters grow old, so we're taking steps away from meat and fruits. You spot only 2 people working in the field, or rather a large garden covered with cabbages, carrots, onions, and garlic, indistinguishable from the wild plants growing in the woods. On the path between the 2 halves of the field, an elderly woman is sitting on a stool, looking in your direction as if you're interrupting her contemplation. Old Hava there will turn this place into a proper farm one day. She has little strength, but keeps precious memories of her trade. You lack proper seeds. I mean, that's kind of rude to say, but okay. The good ones are expensive, Ella responds right away, as if it's a part of a prepared speech, and we weren't sure about our soil. It's all just a test. He invites you with a gesture to follow him deeper into the village, and there are no seeds in Gale Rocks. While the folks of Howlers won't spare their own, they'd rather force us to buy food from them. There are farmers at White Marshes, adds Ephron, but it's a dark place. Who knows what we would reap after a year. That's rough. I kind of feel like if you had a settlement like this, wouldn't you have already tried to grow crops? I don't know, maybe not. The bonfire spot is surrounded by logs that were cut into tables and stools. Ella approaches the nearest chair, rubbing its back with his cut hands. When we share a meal, we do so here, sometimes beneath the stars. You'd have to see it. The flames dance in the walls to the monster roars and crickets. Ephron's voice also grows in enthusiasm. Dining at the edge of the forest is something you wouldn't forget. Unless you can drink. Don't swallow anything stronger than spoiled ibex milk. The shadows, friend. Terrifying. You glance over the wooden buildings. While the walls seem fine, the roofs are primitive, mostly made of planks that are already soggy and bent. There are a few people working on cleaning bark from a log, but the square is mostly quiet, with a few kids observing you from above their toys. I imagine what such dinners would look like, one big family. Ella flashes you a disarming white smile. Yeah, a huge one. We don't have any rooms to spare. He looks at the children as they return to their crude wooden toys. They don't realize yet how small our home is. They've hardly seen anyone from the world outside, and the trade occurs at Foggy Lake. And good for them, the hunter chips in. They don't miss much. Other than spouses, we have everything we need, and so far we've plenty of fresh meat. Some of us even too much. He smirks at the carpenter, who in response turns and walks away. I follow him. You stand between the two of the houses in front of the gate of an animal pen. The walls are made of sharpened trunks and are as tall as 2 humans. The captured beasts are tethered by ropes, but have enough freedom to wander and graze. 2 brown boars and a black mouflon. And here are our captives, Ephron declares proudly. I know it's still a bit empty, but we'll crowd it just before winter. Are you going to care for them in winter? The hunter swallows loudly, already thinking about his next meal. Nah, they're here just for the meat and skin. Once the snow falls, we'll butcher them. The carpenter gives him a sullen glance, then squeezes the lower edge of his jacket. I'd love to keep them with us. I don't even like meat. I like the carpenter. My personal bias already showing. We could start a mouflon herd or any other, but it's too dangerous with such weak defenses. He leans on the gate. Our houses are too small for them, and having loud beasts outside during cold months would lure predators. We tried. He falls silent for a bit, and once he picks up the conversation, his voice returns to its previous proud tone. You'll understand better if you take a look at our old forest, friend. He points at the area behind the palisade. I look north. The vast clearing is returning to life, with shrubs spread between the paths and tree stumps. You move to the bridge, then a gateway, and have a chance to look around. We can see the edge of our world from the watchtower, Ella narrates sublimely. In the long distance, the plateau ends, surrounded by cliffs. You either climb up the mountains or fall to your death. Both men tell you about the difficult past of the village, a desperate camp, then a cabin, then 2, shifting its wooden walls as more and more trees were cut. Without tree crowns, we can walk with no shadows, beast dens, gargoyle eyes, concludes the carpenter. Is it really better than a forest garden? It would produce much more food now I only see berries. I'm surprised that the wrath of the herds hasn't smitten you yet. These pointed sticks won't stop a unicorn. Unicorns? What? Nothing will, friend, the hunter counters, and the carpenter is eager to follow. I think the landscape. Blocking the path here was one of the first things our predecessors took care of, and it may be that the beasts don't realize how much this place has changed. He tells you there's one more thing to see and continues his tale as you walk away. From time to time, something reaches our territory. We feel safe among the bushes, but not so that we would send a child there. We have plans. So many lifetimes won't be enough to complete them, he says with a mix of melancholy and excitement, making Ephron listen with attention. I want to see a stone wall with a walk for archers, weapons made of copper, a tannery set at its own camp, so we're free of its stench. Farmers, fishers, sorcerers, herbalists. You return to the main square again. The words of a dreamer, the hunter pats his companion's back. First, we need to learn how to feed our children. We lack strength and skill. Ephron looks at you, but we have time. I nod. With time comes opportunity. You reach the edge of the village, a cliff as tall as the wall. Beneath you, 2 creeks meet each other and form a gentle river. These are the trees we used to learn more about woodwork. Ella is smiling as he leans his back against the wall of a house. We plant new ones, but we'll soon have to bring wood from further away. Give the saplings a few years, or how long they grow. A decade? And this is where I leave the 2 of you with your boring tree talks, Ephron points at you. See me later if you need. I'll be around. I rarely hunt alone. The carpenter watches his departing companion with genial eyes. Well, there's work to be done. A new chair awaits me. He leads you to a humble working station placed at the edge of the square. The tools you notice are very simple, if not primitive. We don't have to talk about my trade, Garrett. What brings you to us? Is Asterion or... Can someone please introduce me to the Roadwarden? We've spent like 9 hours chasing this guy. He halts his work and looks at you with an exaggerated frown. That's a weird question. You're the first Roadwarden I've seen in, well, this season, I think. Did you check in the western villages? You'll get to Howler's Dell simply staying on the road. His right hand, still holding a tool, is now squeezing his stomach gently. It's my reading society, 27. Some of these texts are quite long, you know. I wouldn't mind it so much, though I'm kind of wondering how much I want to continue. But I'm not burnt out. I want to keep going to see what happens, but I feel like if we keep playing for hours and like nothing is happening, except exposition and getting owned by foxes. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing. but I think that's fair. But I haven't given up yet. I'm still curious to see what the hype is about this game. So let's see. So he's holding his stomach. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I've heard about the bandits. I'd like to learn more about the peninsula. Our tribe won't be much of a help he admits while judging the harsh surface of a small plank. It was our parents who did all the traveling, and they did so while we were kids, or not yet born. Most of them are already gone, and most of us travel no farther than Foggy's, and only when we have to. Well, Foggy's was literally, how long ago? It's only like a 4-hour walk. But I don't know. Maybe it is quite far for them. Let's say you would need to place some traps in an old tunnel. Not yet getting the hype. Yeah, well, I mean, the music is good. Sound design is good. I like the pixel art. Overall, it's well written. The characters are interesting. Though, yeah, the gameplay is... I don't feel like I've done anything. Like, for example, look at my journal. Completed quests. 1 completed quest. It's kind of overwhelming to be given, 14 quests, because I'm not going to be able to remember all of this, and I'm just sort of I don't want the game to be to be good at the game, you have to be like a human encyclopedia, to remember everything. But it's not, I'm complaining, but I'm not quitting. I'm not that disgruntled by any means. I'm just being realistic about, am I enjoying it? It's okay. It's okay right now. And I'm hoping it builds because, you gotta... I enjoy world building as well, so it's not like it's not a slog. But yeah, okay, do I look like someone who crawls through tunnels? He smiles and pats his stomach. You want Ephron. He catches everything that doesn't fly or swim. What do you think about Ephron? He gives you a surprised look. I care for him deeply. He's brave and has a big heart, but both of our pasts were rough. I don't think you need to hear about them. Oh, hey, JF, what's up? Welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, maybe I should do a spreadsheet of this game. I mean, well, the game already kind of does it for me, I guess, right? I mean, I have to give the game some credit. I like that the quest log is here, and that as you get information, it records it here for you. And I think if you're really in the mood for this kind of game, it delivers. But it delivers a lot of the same type of experience, which is just, very backstory heavy. But anyways, I've heard you have some issues with the Eastern Path. At first he gives you a bright smile, but then nods with a sigh. Aye, so our issues are so clear that folk gossip on them. I'm glad you came to our help, friend, but it doesn't feel right to admit we need help from an outsider. He stands up slowly, walks away, and leaps over one of the log-made tables, and looks for something in the pile of wood. In this part of the land, there's always going to be something to do for a Roadwarden. He straightens up with a piece of charred wood in his hand and gets back to you. As he draws back lines on the workbench, he mentions a few names. Creeks, Foggies, Gale Rock's there. Here's the lake. The map is simplistic and doesn't align with your own understanding of local distances, but you follow his descriptions without issues. The path from here to the south is getting too wild for us, he repines, making another few strokes. The merchants travel through the other wood, through Howler's Dell, passing by Old Pagos and White Marshes. Once they reach Foggy, they already have full stomachs and many deals closed. And when they travel back, they visit the same places again. Folks already know that trading here takes a long time. So this is like the Finland of the game. Just off in the corner, the northeast, we're kind of in the northeast corner of the map, We're just we're up here, and this is Sweden, Norway over here. Denmark. Okay, so you want me to give them an option to get to you first and move west without backtracking, and do so all by myself. How exactly? What? I mean, okay, this is my personal taste, but like, it doesn't make sense for my character to say this. You know when it kind of feels like characters are like finishing each other's thoughts, and it's like the characters are like too smart for the conversation? That's kind of how I feel, but anyways, whatever the quest is, we got journal updated the Eastern Path. Let me look at that. Eastern Path. Oh yeah. The creeks, they were having issues with their roads, and now Ella wants me to get to know the roads that connect Foggy Lake with both the western crossroads and the southern crossroads. Okay. Whatever I don't even know where the crossroads are. Western and southern? The spreadsheet would make it more exciting. That's true. Maybe I could come up with some formulas. I thought the crossroads was this. Oh, this is the western crossroads, and this is the southern crossroads. But didn't I already explore? I don't remember. The roads that connect Foggy Lake with both the western crossroads and the southern crossroads. I already did that. Literally, hold on, let me look at the map. Foggy Lake connecting. Here's the road that connects it to the western crossroads. And here in it, and then also the southern crossroads. Oh wait, am I supposed to find this road as well, if there is one? Anyways. Well, I'm sure you can find some help. He pats his stomach without noticing that he leaves a few black dots on his leather jacket. There's a few things you could do. Follow the eastern road and see if it's clear. Are there any safe shelters left? Any blockades to get rid of? Is there an overgrown path to burn? Maybe see if the road from here to the western crossroads is safe, or if the carts could get through the heart of the woods, if you're brave enough. I hope you're a soul with sage judgment. Seeing your puzzled look, he rests his palms on the table with a shy smile. I know I'm vague, but I bet you already know more about these roads than I do, friend. His eyes return to the map, and after a moment of hesitation, he rubs an uneven line with his thumb. You forgot to mention my pay. That depends on what you're about to do, eh? The tribe is but a few dragons. To confirm his words, he enters the nearby house, from which he picks up an old wooden case, crude in shape, and with an unsightly engraving of a three-headed hydra on its lid. Inside it, you see maybe 24 dragon bones. Let's say you'll get a dragon for any news about cleared or blocked areas, and more if it takes real effort from you. So you want me to act first and pick up my reward after? You're playing with my patience. I don't think that's fair that I would expect to be paid before doing the work, but okay. Where would you like me to start? Go to the shelters set just at the side of the roads. There's a ruined campsite west of Foggy's. He makes a small... Wait. Go to the shelters set just at the side of the roads. A ruined campsite west of Foggy's. Didn't I already see that? The ruined shelter. Oh, the one where I got killed by the foxes. Oh, I know. I know. He makes a small circle. Or you could go south to a cabin our elders built. He makes a larger square. It's halfway from here to the river. Take a look around, see what's their condition. If there are any beasts around, you can handle a few small creatures, can't you? Nope. So 2 shelters, and then you just want me to take care of anything I find? He laughs, but not with his eyes. Forgive me, friend, but you don't sound like someone with much experience behind them. You're nothing like Asterion. He took pride in his self-reliance. My only... I love how I don't have an option to defend myself. The option is, we have a deal. He insults me, and then I'm like, all right, we have a deal. He flashes you a wide smile and pats his stomach. You won't regret this. He then throws away the charred wood, returns to his stool, and looks for his tools. The dusk foxes at the shelter in the west are a bit of a problem. I'll let you know if there's anything else. Yeah, wait, why can't I tell him about the dusk foxes? He sighs, looking at the amount of work ahead of him. What about the eastern path? Did you face any troubles? I'll let you know if there's anything else. What? Okay. See you later. I don't feel like talking to everybody. I want to go to the creek and get washed up. With the calming sounds of the waterfall around you, observe the stream as clean as a spring. The oak ash soap and the tea set you own can help get you cleaner. In an hour, I'll remove bloodstains from my clothes. Wait, does that mean in an hour, like, I'll come back in an hour, or that it takes an hour? Well, I'll just go into the stream. There are no fish or plants to bother with, and your feet find mud among the not always smooth pebbles. The water reaches above your waist, allowing you to have some fun and wash every spot of your shell. Thanks to the gentle flow, you're able to remove the mud stains from your clothes and boots. And then, I'm as clean as I can get. Well, apparently not according to this. Oh, but my clothes are torn and worn and stained with blood. Alright, thanks to the bridge, soaking, pounding, and rubbing the fabric goes smoothly. Alright, I step away. So at least I got my appearance better. Maybe there are some locals looking for a match in other villages? I'm a matchmaker? After a few minutes, you find yourself sitting at a table with Shoshi, a dark-haired 20-year-old who some call a woodcutter, others a singer. In both these roles, her massive stature must be of help. When she walks, she either carries a large axe on her shoulders or swings it around, towering over her tribe's folk like a chieftain from the tales of war. She admits she enjoys a friendly shag from time to time. What a weird thing to talk about when you just met somebody. You're like, hey, I could be a matchmaker. And she's like, yeah, I enjoy a friendly shag from time to time. But can't see a future for her in creeks. Enough of these friends lose their lives in the wilderness. I start seeing cats and gargoyles in every shadow. I'd rather have a few calm, safe years at the side of a pretty little woman whom I'll see in my bed in the evenings. Though you know, friend, not just her. She lets out a sonorous laugh. You mention that you don't know if she'll be able to keep her trade after moving away, and she strokes her axe with affection. I'd miss the woods, but who knows? My tribe can't be the only one that cuts trees around here, eh? You try to ask her about her worldview, but she gets bored by the topic. We here, she looks around, have no temples and priests, and I don't aim to become one. Farewell. I don't want to talk to people. I'm just like burnt out with all the conversations I'm having to have. Let's go south from Foggy's. The air is fresh, just as it was in the tavern. The light touches the road and shrubs, blocked only by the single willow, wild and untrimmed. You're by a lake, too large for you to see its other bank, but the local soil isn't too fertile. There are only a few trees on the horizon, while the struggling bushes and grasses fight with layers of rocks. In the south, you see uninviting hills cut with tiresome roads. A gray rabbit is cleaning its fur near the brook, but the sound of hooves makes it hop toward the nearest shrub. Right after it sinks into the leaves, you hear it squeal, cut off quickly. Whatever its hunter was, it leaves behind only the rustling of the thicket and a trail of blood. You wait for a long minute with a hand on your axe, but the creature doesn't return. You relax a bit, then turn toward the stone statue of a young woman. So wait, the rabbit jumped directly into like the path of the hunter? Okay. Okay, a statue of a young woman. I ride a bit closer. Such a monument would be a better fit for a temple or a rich city folk's house. Here, without any cover, it's already losing its shape from the rains and dust. Chunks of the face and hair have already broken off. It has detailed eyes and human-like proportions, and the clothes are like fabric petrified by a spell. The statue carries the usual traveling equipment: a walking staff, a gambeson, simple pants, now covered by leaves. Oh, I look at the pedestal. Maybe someone left a valuable offering. You dismount and approach the bushes covering the legs and the pedestal. You see some old wooden bowls as well as rocks. You try to push the leaves away, but their stems are thick and healthy, crowded with insects and spider webs. Until you remove the thicket, you won't be able to see if there's anything worth stealing. Thankfully, there are no thorns, and the touch of a leaf doesn't make your finger itchy. It's not stealing, and a bandit statue needs no gifts. In about half an hour, I could use my axe to cut down the bushes and twigs. But wait, I consider washing myself, but I've already done that. Right? In about half an hour, I could use my axe to cut down the bushes. Let's do that. You tether Duskrunner to the tree, letting it choose between drinking, grazing, and napping. You prepare your equipment, keeping an eye on the bush where you saw the rabbit's last moments. You use your weight to move the plants to one side, then cut right above the ground. The stems are healthy and flexible, so getting through them is rough. But you have enough strength to deal with them in a couple of minutes. Then throw them into the lake. The work goes on for a bit, but once you're done, the statue stands in its former glory. A couple of old offerings are still on the pedestal: polished rocks, bone figurines, and moldy bowls and plates that used to store food. In one vessel, you see a dragon bone. It's dark and could be older than a generation, but it would surely be accepted by any merchant. Oh, I'm taking that. I'm a desperate man. I'm taking it. You wash it in the brook and straighten up just a tiny bit richer. The statue is silent. I consider washing myself in the stream. The brook would hardly cover your feet, but you could sit on the pebbles and splash yourself with water. It could help me. I'm as clean as I can get, and the clothes need no washing. Okay. Dude, I have no idea where my fish trap went. I had a fish trap. I tried to retrieve it, but I couldn't find the menuing. It's like you have to click through a bunch of menus when you get to a location to it's like a location within a location, and I couldn't find it. But so it's sitting in a stream somewhere, unattended. Let's travel. Keep going. We're gonna get attacked. There's like dragon bones or something there. I don't know. The valley is flanked by the hills. To the west, the grasses and bushes blend into the horizon and turn into another part of the forest. The southern hills are gray and tall, with fortress-like rock faces and a crown of conifers. The northern ones have countless sand-colored rocks, lumped together like piles of rubble and clay, bearing hardly any soil or weeds. The plants here are struggling. The grass is short and yellowish, sometimes dried out. The bushes have silver leaves, like many plants from sunny areas. The mushrooms can't hide in the shadows, but as you approach one, you see it's growing from the remains of a dead bird, while others are covering old branches and other plants. They won't last much longer. It'll be easy to spot any larger beasts around. You have to squint to spot the first threatening creature. A runner is in the far east, close to the hills, though it completely ignores you, walking around and observing the grass, looking for its next prey. You don't have to worry about it for now. There are boot prints on the road as well as in the short grass, fresher than even on the western roads. Since many mushrooms were cut away with a knife and you notice few berries on the shrubs, you conclude it's a foraging spot for the people from the north, though there doesn't seem to be much food left. There are also no prints leading farther south. I could try to forage for a bit. I picked 2 bunches of wild plants. You let Duskrunner keep itself busy while you walk around looking for anything edible. It takes a fair bit of time. You don't plan to carry around raw mushrooms and bugs, and the wild vegetables need to be washed before you put them in your bags. You finally find a few handfuls of plants, fruits, and nuts. Next time, however, is not going to be so easy, especially since the runner, a bird both taller and wider than you, observes you carefully, at first from a distance, then circling around you. After about half an hour, you hear its piercing screech. As the creature runs at you, shaking a beak larger than your head, you throw everything into a sack and get in the saddle. I should avoid this place while this beast is hanging around. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. The only tracks in sight belong to small critters. The cabin has no window, but a stubborn beast could easily burst in through the old thatch. The gust of wind doesn't move the door. A curious ibex observes you from the crag, but flees from your gaze. You tether Duskrunner to the supporting beam. Its curious eyes are tracking the crickets that jump among the grass blades. You stretch your limbs, adjust your armor, and reach for the axe. Let's eavesdrop first. You sneak toward the door and crouch down. After maybe a minute, a quiet rattle comes from the inside, something similar to the sound of cracking knuckles. You peek inside and just barely see a small part of the dusty room. A large spiderweb is spread among the knocked-down furniture. I'll use a spell. I better grab my wand. You unwrap the linen sheet and grab the willow wand, still as smooth as on the day you bought it. The pointy carved twig is thin, but heavy from the injected quicksilver. Wait. I walk in and aim at anything that moves? A spider looks at you from the center of the web. Its shell is larger than your head, and the thin legs are longer than your arms. Its countless hair blends in with the walls. They're brown, gray, cream. What do? Cast spell. You aim with the wand while the spider skitters off, shaking the entire web. You release the invisible wave, but fail to avoid the creature's spit. The sticky ooze hits your eyes, covering them like a glued cloth. Why is my character so inept? I can't do anything in this game. The sack of flesh smacks the floor. It clicks in agony. Wait, I did hit it? Why is it clicking in agony? Your eyelids can't even blink. You hide the wand behind your belt, then sit on the threshold blindly. So I guess I killed it. So I'm gonna remove it. I remove it gently. I'm gentle with myself. The saliva clings tightly to your skin, but stretching it with your fingers helps. The eyelids are the worst part, but you're grateful for your reflexes. At least you still have eyes. You get to see the light slowly, then the shapes. The thing turns out to be gray and white. You stand up and look around. The room is covered with a thick layer of dust. Getting through the web could be risky. A single thread won't stop you, but a bunch of them could grapple you for good. I drag the spider carcass away and throw it into the forest. Let's do that. You put on your thick gloves and grab 4 spider legs at once. The corpse isn't heavy, so you drag it behind you. You reach the bushes at the edge of the road, then lift up the entire creature. The more you shake it, the more distracting the twitches of its legs get. You send it into a tree trunk. It sinks into the thicket, causing a bit of a rustle among the dwellers. Okay, now I go back into the cabin. Oh, someone could be interested in such a thick web. Let's gather it. I've got time. I've got 5 hours. You bring a twig from the outside and use it as a spool. You don't have much practice, and wearing the gloves makes the necessary gestures even more awkward. From time to time, the silk breaks, but it shouldn't be a problem for a tailor. It's a material for stitching and wouldn't be turned into a cloth anyway. You notice maybe a dozen defenseless spiderlings. They flee toward the exit, with their speed limited by their tiny legs. They're smaller than a finger. They have the right to live. The creatures crawl over the threshold and disappear among the grass blades. It could be the first time they've ever been touched by the sun. All right, let's search the building. You pick up 2 corals. The chest hides a few old water skins and inedible stale rations. Among them, however, you find 2 corals for a crossbow. The bones have no obvious owner, but judging by their age and the lack of skull or human-like hands, you doubt they could be awoken by the fogs. The boots, rugged plants, an old sticky tunic, and other scraps are cheap and hide no jewelry. The bowls and mugs are empty. Okay. Dusk runners peacefully grazing. Wait, I did everything here, right? Yeah. Okay, just keep traveling. The muddy road slows you down. By the way, I remember now, there was a character, was it the tailor who was going to get, who needed spider silk. So there was somebody who needed spider silk, but let me see. It's not, wait. Oh, wait, yeah, it's in the journal. I mean, the Huntress, two brothers, Foggy, Glausha, Iason, Orentius, Pyros. Yeah, not Thace or Tulia. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think it was a quest, but it was sort of like if you wanted to upgrade your armor, you could use that. But I don't remember where they were located. They were probably located over here in Howler's Dell, if I had to guess. Yeah. The gentle road leads uphill, getting more rocky and bright as the trees grow sparse. Just in case, your eyes run toward a few drier parts of the meadow, and you instantly shout at Duskrunner to make haste. A pack of short-haired wolves, at least 20 members strong, is chasing after you. Their coats are a mixture of yellow, black, and white spots, as if someone threw mud and paint at them. They move toward the road with a human-like speed, and you realize only some of them run straight at you. Why would they move with a human-like speed? I would assume that, like, wolves move at wolf speed. Why? Am I overthinking this? And, like, if they were moving toward me, wouldn't they move quickly? Because they're wolves, and they're, like, if they're going to try and attack me, they would be, like, excited for the chase. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. They're trying to cut through my path at human-like speed. If it wasn't for your palfrey, the beast would have already caught up with you. Your trap was perfectly set up, not leaving you any path of escape. Your terrified mount is disciplined enough to stay on the beaten path, and even though one of the big-eared wolves almost sinks its teeth into your mount's thigh, you manage to squeeze between the hunters. For the next few minutes, you do your best to get further away, and while your gallop is indeed faster, the wolves easily shorten the distance by moving through the sparse forest. You cross a weird river bridge made of a stone slab, but the chase doesn't stop yet. This is like the Lord of the Rings with Glorfindel / Arwen in the movies. Maybe I have something I could use here. I don't have any Pneuma. I used my Pneuma to kill the spider. At least we killed the spider and didn't die. Okay, I'm not... yeah, you think about your sacks and bundles, but the pack won't wait for you to sort through things. The group gets larger the further you go, as even more of its members, previously hidden among the rocks and grasses, now join the hunt, allowing their tired family members to slow down. You may be able to lose them after some time, but scaring or wounding some of them may force them to give up on their prey sooner. Well, okay, I have nothing to fight them off with. You reach the 4 major crossroads. I got a update there. You focus on the road ahead, forcing your mount to speed up whenever a beast tries to catch it. After another few minutes, you reach the crossroads at the foot of a watchtower, but the pack doesn't give up on you yet. At least their numbers have stopped growing. You're already outside of their territory, and the handful of spotted, colorful shells also seem tired, and are forced to stay on the beaten path. The gate cutting the road right next to the tower can't be crossed in the saddle. You have to make a turn. Let me see on the map. I'm gonna go west. The road here is much more neglected and overgrown by grasses. The leaves and trees start to blur into a vague memory, but after another few minutes, the howls stop. You don't slow down just yet. Those were some stubborn wolves. The farther west you get, the thicker the forest becomes. Duskrunner is exhausted but patient, more happy to survive than it's angry at your wanderlust. At least you can hope the pack will move to a different place during the night. Look, I don't want to be picky here, but I'm noticing lots of little like typos, I don't know. I don't want to be critical unnecessarily, but I was sold that the story, the writing, the quality of the writing was really good. And typos aren't like a deal breaker, but I'm noticing the quality of the writing, in my opinion, so far, like it started out really good, but now it's just sort of like what was the point of the wolves, you know? And and I feel like every town, the characters are kind of all the same. They're all that same kind of like NPC character. That, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like the world is that immersive from my perspective. I wouldn't mind the NPC character stuff so much if my character actually got to do stuff, you know. But I feel like even the wolves, I couldn't do anything with the wolves because I didn't have enough Pneuma. And I had only used the Pneuma once to kill the spiders. You know, like, I guess, am I bad at the game? Like, or is this how are other people playing this game with a better understanding of how to play this type of game, and so they're enjoying it more? I feel like I'm getting blindsided by a lot of stuff that I'm just kind of like, this is, you know, it's not bad, but it's just not exciting, or it's not fun to feel like the game is so punishing. But yeah, Unhappy Tyler, look, I'm just saying it like it is. I'm just but I mean, I don't hate the game. I want to keep going. I better get out of the saddle and let it rest for a bit before I move forward. Okay. It's almost night, so we better find something. The path leads downward through the hills. The forest gets thicker and the signs of human touch are rare. The lone large boulder surely draws attention. You can't guess its age, but the path around suggests it was passed plenty of times already. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. You stop Duskrunner to take a closer look. The remains of red paint are covering the eastern side. It's the same message as the one you saw at the southern crossroads. Don't enter, danger ahead. You look down the dark road and hear the distant roar of a dragon. I am not going to go into the heart of the forest. Are you kidding me? There's a dragon? You know what? Fine, we're going to do it. I scratched Duskrunner's neck. I'm ready. Let's go. You can't help but smile. Your palfrey's knicker brings you comfort. No matter how dark it's going to get, the sky above your heads is bright and blue. I travel as far west as I can. Yes. 3 hours before dusk. We got a dragon ahead. Let's go for it. You know what? I don't care. The stream ahead can be crossed by a humble ford. Hold on, wait. Where? Let me see the map. We're over here. Wait. I guess I don't understand why the game is like... Why would my character know that like I'm ready or not ready to go into this part of the woods? Is it because I heard the dragon? That's what I mean, where I'm like, I'm kind of confused by the story or the characters and how they're behaving. I don't know where information is coming from. Don't hate the game, but not really enjoying it. I'm trying to enjoy it, but I feel like the game is kind of getting in its own way. But we'll see. I don't want to get so critical that then I become, what is it like? It becomes a prophecy. What is that? I don't know. There's a phrase for that I can't think of. But yeah. The stream ahead can be crossed by a humble ford made of hundreds of rocks that used to reach from the bottom to the surface, but is now partially demolished, either by time or a living creature. For a rider, crossing it won't be much of a problem, but most travelers would have to take off their pants and shoes. Moving an entire wagon would pose quite a challenge. The water is clean and the banks are low, a good watering spot for dusk runner. Like, I feel like this is kind of my problem with this kind of storytelling, where it's like, it's just kind of spitting information at you, but none of it is like that interesting or useful, because it's like, why moving an entire wagon would pose a challenge crossing this river? It's like, I don't have a wagon. Is that a case where you play the game and you show up here with a wagon, so you know not to bring a wagon on this road? Is that maybe it is relevant, and it's like the game is deeper and more complex than I know, but a lot of this just feels like flowery text, where it's like, you could just tell me there's a river and I can cross it, and then give me some colorful description, but it's like, travelers would have to take off their pants and shoes to cross the river, like, whatever. The water is clean and the banks are low, a good watering spot for dusk runner. It's too late to begin hard labor in the middle of the wilderness. Okay. We tried dusk runner. The colors of leaves range from greens to... Wait, where did I go? I don't even know where we went. Wait, how did we... You guys, how did we teleport? How did we teleport across the river? Why, how am I over here? Okay. The colors of leaves range from greens to purples and overwhelm you with shadows. The stems of the shrubs twisted in all directions, seeking the slightest scraps of sunlight. The trees are not too tall, but their trunks are as wide as buildings. Their trunks are as wide as buildings? That's like a sequoia. Unless you got small buildings, like, how is that possible? I know, we're in a fantasy world, maybe it is. The neglected road has been carved into the thicket, an inch at a time, a corridor of plants with a floor made of pebbles that give way to saplings and vines. From time to time you pass by many turns, relics left by roaming dragons, unicorns, and trolls. Some of them are still used by beasts. Boars, striped cats, or packs of goblins. So it's like the beasts made all the roads? Is that what it's explaining? What does it mean by relics left by roaming dragons? The road is a relic of the dragon? Or the dragons, unicorns, and trolls? But then it says some of them are still used by beasts. Does that mean that it's no longer used by dragons, unicorns, and trolls? Okay. See, this is where I'm like, I don't want to... The writing just doesn't do it for me. Yeah. It's not that I think I could write it better. It's just sort of like, wait, it makes me more confused than informed. When necessary, I clear any thicket that's in Dusk Runner's way. You reach a gap in the tunnel of plants. The meadow nourishes a lonely tree growing in the shadow of a rocky hill surrounded by humble grasses. Near the tree roots, a wolf without fur is feasting on a human corpse, unaware of your presence. Whoa. A wolf without fur? I look around. You see no other creatures. The road in front of you is passable. The birds in the sky seem harmless. The beast raises its head. Its ears are shaking. It's standing on all fours, crouching forward with blood dripping from its massive canines. Its head, and especially its jaw, are wide and long like those of a horse. Its brown shell is muscular with pronounced shoulder blades, the hair resembling your arms, and a tuft of black fur at the end of its foot-long tail. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. Charcoal. You don't see much from afar. It's in one piece, with blood-soaked clothing torn to pieces, indistinguishable from the loose flaps of skin. It has no sacks, bags, or equipment, but you spot a trail of blood leading to the trees. The creature must have dragged the shell from the deeper woods. The beast turns its head towards you. Its eyes are like shining charcoal. Okay. It already did that. I look at the tree. The beast turns toward you, fixing its eyes on your palfrey. Its long mouth is covered in blood. It's gonna strike me? Okay, I ride away as fast as it can. Duskrunner enters the trot with little encouragement as the beast charges at you, leaping forward quickly. You outrun the wolf just in time, escaping its giant jaws as it falls into the bushes. You do your best maneuvering between the vines and branches. After a few minutes, you dare to look behind you. You're alone. At least my companion is safe. Okay. You know, I think that the encounter I had with the foxes traumatized me. And, like, the inability to improve my vitality. Because I could go rest and raise my vitality, but then I need to pay money to sleep. Otherwise, I lose vitality. So I kind of felt like I'm kind of stuck. But in order to get money, I have to do quests. But to do quests, I need vitality. And even the quest that I'm given, it's like, I'll give you 1 dragon coin. Like, dude, I need like 100. You know, what? What can I do with 1 coin? Oh, well. Your eyes wander between the wall of trees and shrubs on one side and the dirty pond on the other. The road itself is wide, covered with soggy logs that keep the ground from turning into mud. It's breaking under your mount's hooves, letting out what sounds like a sigh of relief. The water insufferably stinks of carrion, and is covered with a blanket of green plants and white flowers that draw countless buzzing insects. Even a horse shouldn't drink from it. Duskrunner tries to get familiar with the unusual pavement, and speeds up to jump over a fallen trunk blocking your path. Once it lands, it breaks one of the logs in halves. At first, I thought I was thinking that Duskrunner breaks its leg. I was like, no. Soon after, you reach a massive black saurian resting on the ground, enjoying the light at the edge of the forest. It seems to be ignoring your presence. Once again, Duskrunner canters. I have a question. I keep getting confused by the saurian. Like, what do they look like? Saurian is a term as vague as monkey. Well, monkey isn't a vague term. Monkey is like a type of animal and covers a vast range of 4-legged creatures that resemble small dragons. Okay, this is why I'm so confused. Wait, they're small dragons, but they mean but they're also called monkeys? But it's a vast range of 4-legged creatures. Okay, some of them are hunted for meat, especially smaller ones, while larger ones often attack humans, though prefer heavier animals that can satiate them for longer. There are many tales about the unique abilities that some other groups may possess, but they are among the lesser understood creatures. Still more to learn about them. Yeah. I wish that there were some pictures, because I'm like, what does its head look like? Is it just a dragon? Because I hear saurian and I think of a monkey. And there's also there's actual like ape men or something. Hold on. Come back here. There's like the apes and monkeys. That's why this is so confusing. I'm also thinking of these creatures and confusing them with the saurians. Okay, so I'm assuming that saurians don't look like monkeys. They're just dragons. Small dragons. Okay. A massive black saurian resting on the ground, enjoying the light. Once the monster raises its head, you're already in the air. The beast pushes itself away from the ground with its forelimbs, trying to catch any chunk of flesh with its massive jaws, but you safely hit the ground and return to a trot slowly. Wait, I wasn't aware that we jumped. Did we need to do a big jump? I thought we just started trotting along. Why did we leap in the air? Okay, I pay attention to the dead trees sticking out of the pond. They look similar. So wait, the saurian tried to attack us, but then didn't? Why did it try to bite us? And why did we go so close to it? This is what I mean where I feel like the writing is just kind of random and meaningless. Or it's like it's hard to, like, for me to try and like remember all of this as like part of a cohesive story. It's just, maybe that's also why it's an RPG. Like, it's kind of random. like real life. Random stuff happens in real life too. So I do want a picture book for my reading society. I mean, they did such a good job with the pixel art here. I wish they had also included some pictures of the animals, you know, because that helps me a lot. Like, yeah, it helps a lot when I can see the, like, if I have a visual reference I can think of. The road is bright, empty, surrounded by sparsely growing trees, gentle hills, and meadows. It leads you to a cairn, a pile of rocks ranging in size from your abdomen to your fist. There's also quite a few tiny pebbles. A narrow, hardly passable trail leads south, but likely won't survive another year without travelers. Okay, let's look at the cairn. It's wider than two people standing side by side and taller than Duskrunner. The grass surrounds it tightly. It must be years old, but could just as well be older than any village in the north. You find rocks in many colors, including red, cream, white, black, and blue, and many dotted or mixed ones. While the cairn stays firmly beneath your touch, it would be easy to shatter it with a pickaxe or a single swipe of a dragon. You also notice pieces of old chicken bones pressed among the rocks. Unfortunately, no coins. Yeah, let's use the spell, why not? I use my amulets to see if this place stores any Pneuma. What does it mean to store Pneuma? What is that? Does that mean it stores Pneuma that I can take to myself? Or like, that there's Pneuma here of spirits or something that I could interact with? Because it's, yeah. Alright, let's just do it. You unpack the wooden spheres, pleasantly smooth and light. Oh, by the way, it's almost dusk. The entire set fits in the palm of your hand. You place them in various spots in the cairn, and one on the nearby ground, just in case. All you can do now is wait, so you spend the few minutes making sure that no creature tries to sneak behind napping Duskrunner. When you gather your amulets, they're not much warmer than your skin. The spell filling the rocks is either weak or dwindling from age. What? Okay. Nothing. Alright. This is where it's like, I understand that like a game shouldn't just be like opening loot box after loot box, but like I feel like everything I do in this game has no reward. Like, yep, spend your Pneuma, discover nothing, you know? Oh, okay. Glad I did that. Alright, let me see on the map. Why are there all of these black spots in the map? Okay, let's try to go south. Yeah. You grab Duskrunner's lead and use your axe to get through the branches and the tall grasses. After a few minutes, you reach a colorful meadow with orange, red, and white flowers as tall as a wheat field. Your late summer scent lures all sorts of insects as well as tiny birds. The path ends at the edge of the glade. A bird or an ape may get me from above. I move forward but keep an eye on the closest trees. A cat could leap at me from among the flowers. I keep looking around. I observe the ground. A snake might bite my leg. I don't trust this place. Well, I was hoping there would be a path that leads here. Because I need to seek shelter. All right, I don't trust this place. I turn back. No, I don't want to turn back. I keep looking around. You tether your mount to a tree and tread forward carefully, keeping your eyes and weapon high. Soon the nearest birds flee from your scream. You reach to your side and look down. A 100-legged worm as wide as your fist and maybe 3 feet long has crawled underneath your gambeson and chewed off a bit of your flesh? You pull by its tail and stretch out your arm. The creature wriggles in the air, incapable of bending its shell enough to scratch your hand. It's red, covered with armor made of plates. You throw it away and touch the hole that it left in your clothes. There's hardly any blood. Wait, it's a giant, like, millipede. It bites off my flesh. But I'm not bleeding. How is that possible? Okay. I look among the plants. Your steps force the mice and insects to spread, but your presence remains hardly noticed by the colorful life around you. I don't know anything about herbs. Alright, I return to the cairn. You're by the cairn. Wait, why couldn't I have stayed there and looked at other things? Okay, whatever. I continue my journey. Let's just go. I tried. Wait, where am I? Which way to... Oh, wait, why is my journey... Yeah, I don't really quite understand, but... Are we going through, like, Mirkwood Forest and we can't keep track of where we are? Every minute or so, you get lost in the dense woods. 45 minutes before dusk, by the way. When possible, you stick to the remains of the beaten path, clearing the overgrown thicket that blocks your way. But it would take many more travelers to sustain such a trail. The land around you may lack greens, but is far from being empty. The fallen boughs. I swear, this is like, I will never learn to pronounce this word. The fallen boughs and dead stumps are slowly devoured by ants and mushrooms, a web-like labyrinth of wooden walls, while the white termites larger than your hand continue their never-ending march. Their guards notice your presence, but simply form a warning line in front of their workers. The trees are taller than the temple in the city, with trunks resembling the legs of giants. The shadows they cast are like a carpet, and the few beams of light nourish the sparse bushes and ferns, the only plants that aren't choked by the rotting late summer leaves, shaped like toothed squares as large as your face. Okay, now that I'm more familiar with this part of the forest, I may be able to find a smoother path. Wait, why is that an option? I'm not familiar with this part of the forest. Why would I be able to find a smooth path? I don't know. The forest gives way to rocks and green hills, but among the tall trees are numerous monkeys, sitting in small groups, loud yet shorter than half your size. They distort the green leaves with red, brown, white, and blue fur. As you approach their territory, their excitement grows. They climb up and down the trunks, sway on vines, jump between branches, or hang down, putting to use their long tails. They throw at you countless angry glances and grunts, but also cones, branches, and chestnuts. A piece of their fresh feces lands close to Duskrunner, but the pack's aim is rather miserable. Well, I can't use any spells right now, unfortunately. My soul is too weak. I need to endure it. I ride forward. You try to shield yourself with your cloak, but you enter an avalanche of missiles. One of the rocks painfully hits your arm, but your gambeson is in great shape and softens the blow. Soon after that, your shoulder blocks something from reaching your forehead. You rush Duskrunner, which is more than happy to follow your command. The monkeys follow you, swinging between the trees until they reach the edge of their territory, letting out triumphant shouts. Let's get out of here. Oh wow, it's actually past dusk. I didn't know I could do that. Typically the game has told me that I need to, like, seek shelter and go to sleep. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, then your illegal logging business is a success. 27. Well, they could use you in this game. This forest is just wild. At least to blaze a trail, a proper trail. The corridor of leaves and gray rocks leads you to a gate, large enough to let a wagon through, held together by a wooden bar. The planks and rocks are covered with claw marks left by various monsters, but they weren't able to damage the wall as much as the passage of time and the piercing rains. A large man, covered in shadows, is observing you from the roofed tower. His voice is hoarse, distrustful. Ye lost or aught? Listen. Grab the wooden bar on the door. I'll grab the one on my side. Just give me a minute. I dismount and lift the log. You know, it's kind of interesting that his... Wait. He's covered in shadows. Though it's like in the middle of the night right now, so... Oh yeah, of course my appearance goes down to 0 again. The man lowers the rope that hangs from an iron hook. You hear him pressing his feet to the wall as he climbs down, getting on the ground swiftly. Now step back, his voice is muffled. The man pushes both leaves of the gate and steps closer, looking around. He's holding a loaded crossbow, but doesn't aim at you. He's both tall and wide. He's wearing a black gambeson, so ragged it can't be fastened anymore. It tells a story of claws, thorns, and improvised repairs. The hole in the man's hemp pants reveals a scraped knee. You followed? He whispers. Not really. Good. He steps away, letting you through. The stool and a bucket filled with dirty water don't look like much of a resting spot. You're safe now. The man closes the gate and observes you with keen eyes. It's hard to tell his age through his exhausted, sleepy eyes, a short, unkempt beard, and a bandage horizontally covering his ears, and the spot that used to be his nose. There's clotted blood in his brown hair and mud on his clothes and brown neck. Despite all this, he's of a huge shell with wide shoulders and thick legs. Now, how are ye alive? He still holds his weapon but doesn't aim at you. I don't know, you mug. What are my options? Good time to get to know each other. Better remember this mug, friend. It's going to stay around for a while. I mean, I like that they want to give us playful responses, but they're just too cringy. You know, like my... I can be distanced. How about that? I'm Garrett, the new Roadwarden, and you're the gatekeeper, I assume. Well, yeah, he looks at his weapon. I'm just on duty guarding, but I'm no enemy of yours. He straightens up. So a warden. You new to the job? Pretty new. You chose a shit place then. This gate here? He places his hand on a brick as if to prove it exists. It's older than me. All there? He points behind him. Wilds and beasts. My tribe build this place to keep them away from us. Not but the brave ones enter the woods, and not but the stupid ones to do it alone. He scratches the bandage on his cheek. Name's Quintus, from old Pagos. Been there? Not yet. So you don't know. It's west from here, behind the crossroads, but it's touched by sickness. We used to send one soul here every morning and escort them back before nightfall, but some days ago no one came for me. I spent a night here, sneaking wolf shits almost got me. He crouches, draws a handful of water from the bucket, but after he smells it, he grunts and straightens up. I went home by myself, only to learn about the sick. I've been here ever since. What do you know about the plague? Not much. It kills, that's all there is to know. My tribe's smart, locking the gate. The right gave them strength. Shouldn't you look for a real shelter? He trembles, his eyes widen. Someone has got to stay at the gate. The villagers in the east don't know about the illness. They may try crossing the woods, hit the closed gate, while fleeing some wolves and stuff. He rubs his dirty neck. And I also can't leave the gate open. It's like a dam for monsters. If all I can do is choose the way I die, this is it. With my duty fulfilled. I'm surprised you survived this long. Well, you can call it surviving. I call it potions. His chuckle makes him wince in pain. He puts a hand on his stomach and leans away. Beast took me for easy prey, but the good monks from the mountains equipped our guards well. They're helping or ill, but used to brew all sorts of stuff. His hand moves to an earthenware bottle by his belt. I changed the topic. So if I were to ask you to keep this gate open for me, why would I ask him to do that? Well, you saw how it works. I could open it for you. He touches his stomach and takes a deep breath. But I need you to give me aught first. What do you want? I'm hungry. Bring me some rations, maybe. Dried meat, apples, nuts, maybe. He sizes you up. 6 meals, then I'll help you with the gate. Well, I have 6, but I need them. Wait, what? How much money do I have? 2. 2 coins. Don't you have time to hunt? Time? But I've got to stay near the gate. I can't keep people waiting while I track deer. All right. I'll go with you. I take the trophies. But I can't hunt with him. My character can't even kill a fox. So I don't know why I would offer to do that. Also, that seems, I don't know. It seems kind of like a boring thing to do. I'd rather actually be like playing the main story. How about I pay you? I can do not with coins. I've got to stay on the wall, and he hesitates and looks away, then says with frustration, and traveling without an ass to ride isn't as safe, you know. It's a horse, not an ass. So that's why it's so tall. First time I seen one. Then give me coins. I'll bring you a barrel of salted fish or some oats and cheese. How about that? I hardly have any and have not to barter. Why would I carry pretty stuff on a wall duty? Food rations are expensive, though. That's because they're healthy, nah? The monk said so. So it's like I can't say no to him. The game is kind of forcing me to keep just clicking on, like, you can just forage for nuts and berries. And he's like, but that's not real food. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Shoot some birds with your crossbow. And then he's like, I'm not much of a shot. I can get you some corals. And then he's like, I'll find out on my own. Good. I don't want to help you, all right? I'm not giving you my food rations. I need them. I'm looking for Asterion. That's nice, but he hasn't been here in many days. You sure he's not dead? After you admit that he very much may be, he puts a hand on his waist. Well, better get ready to slit open every dragon belly in the wilds. Do you often travel through the woods? Sure, though on a different mount. He had a saurian. 4 ibexes long, 2 ibexes tall. Wait, are ibexes a unit of measurement? It moves on 4 legs and jumps high and far. It's dark green like rotting leaves. That one time I was taking a piss in the shrubs and Asterion made the beast run up the rock face and it jumped on that. He points at the hill and like they ran above the wall and landed on the other side. Just like that. He snaps his fingers, his voice and eyes gain new vigor. So wait, Asterion, is he like a superhero if he's able to like move around like that? You say the saurian was large and green? I mean, not everywhere. He points at his eyebrows. He has red scales here and on the tail, and shoulders, I think. I don't know what to call it. You ask him for a bit about Asterion, but he has little to add. There used to be 6 of us keepers. I saw him every now and then, but not that often. What can you tell me about the road behind the gate? I love that, like, I'm asking him about the road I already traversed. I kind of feel like this is like I was supposed to talk to this guy a long time ago. And I only am just now talking to him from the wrong direction. That's how it feels. Tyler being rude and don't want to help. Well, I don't want to like give him my food rations. I don't want to agree to that. And the game isn't giving me any other option. Or maybe I'm a little annoyed that the game is giving me all these options of what I can say to him, and then he's just shooting them down. And then basically I can only choose the one option of helping him or not helping him. And it's just like, okay. I don't know. It's you know, I want the game to give me agency, but not like pretend to give me agency. You know, like I want the options all to be real and not just options I click that then the other characters shoot down and I'm redirected, you know, to the option I have to take basically. Because I even offered to, well, anyways.
What can you tell me about the road behind the gate? Oh, not much. His chuckle turns into a cough. It leads through lowlands, mostly woods and some ponds. It's dark and lethal. He mentions tales of ghosts, dragons, fog, and blood mages. But whenever you ask about any creature in particular, his response is vague and brief. The tribes abandoned this path. Ever since the war, the trade has been slow. People refuse to patrol it. The plants are getting taller, but for at least a few more seasons, it's still a shortcut. It's good that you have a mount. If aught chases you, always stay close to the paths and ride as fast as you can. You could at least spend the nighttime in one of the villages? I'm not a beggar, and the villages in the north won't help me more than a day or two. I've got no dragon bones, just little ibex. Old Pagos is by itself. We don't look for kind folks. He thinks for a moment. I'll just wait. I'll get back home once the plague's done, or before winter. You understand, I'm sure. Wardens are souls of duty. Why are you here if no one uses the road? He scowls at you. Not no one. It's where people hunt for monsters, and every few days I have to open it for reasons. What's it like to live in Old Pagos? He opens his mouth, giving you a puzzled look, then lets out a weak chuckle. What am I to say? We've got rocks. He taps the wall. And make houses, bowls, tools. We sell them too. We grow oats and broad beans. Ibexes give us wool and skins for monks. What do you call it? The one you ride on. He moves on with when you mention parchment. Yeah, it's a good place. Beautiful old hill. That's what Pagos means. Old hill. When you bring up the monastery, his eyes get brighter. Good people. They came here on a mission teaching us Wright's book. My grandparents were pagans, you know. But we now follow the river of truth. We keep to ourselves but help others when they need us. What about the bandits? Scratches the bandage on his cheek. I only know there's one band somewhere, but not around. I never saw them. Why are you afraid of Glausha? What? Hold on a second. Glausha's band. Glausha and her band have broken the truce with the local villages. He's going to pay me 2 dragons if I get in touch with Thace, the mayor of Halsdale, and bring him her response. Didn't I already do this? Pelt's innkeeper? Yeah, I did that. Why is this not in the completed quest? I need to find out where the bandits have been active in the recent past. Thace has decided to reject the collaboration. I should bring the news to the innkeeper. I'm positive I told the innkeeper already. I wonder why hasn't it updated? Maybe there's... I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm mistaken. Why are you afraid of Glausha? Why would I ask if he's afraid of Glausha? I don't know who you're talking about. This is where I'm like, I just don't understand the game that well. Like, does it actually make sense for me to ask that? I assume Glausha is the leader of the band of bandits, right? He didn't act afraid of Glausha. Okay, anyways, you need to seek shelter. Nah, he waved it off with a smile, but once he speaks, his voice cracks. And where would I go anyway? Where is the closest place to here? Is it Howler's Dell? Howler's Dell is more supplies than you could eat in a year. And they would take a finger from me for each bite. I've hardly got any dragons. He gives you a long look. I could spend some time with Pelt's crew again. Their place is cheaper. But forget it, I can't afford even that. Unless they're looking for a pair of hands, I better stay here. So the thing that stops you from going to Pelt right away is dragon bones? I mean, that's a pretty big thing. In the north, everyone looks after themselves. Hunters may be my friends, but I won't beg them for help. I could ask the innkeep to let him stay for labor. Let's return to this later. About your duty. What's there to say? Let's return to this later. Am I like one of those, like, am I like in a business meeting where I'm like, let's circle back to this at a future date. Seek shelter. Too dangerous. Why is it too dangerous? This guy just told me that I was totally safe here. You can find the closest shelter in Howler's Dell, but the creatures of the night are surely going to attack you. It's going to take 3/4 of my life away? I can't travel. I can't do anything except that. I'm trying to think of... I suppose I could eat a little bit, maybe. I'm gonna eat some rations. Man, what is all this? I do have the iron scraps now. All right, we've eaten a little bit. There's no way I can raise my vitality. So I have to go. I just have to try. Let's see what happens. You died. Oh, wait. You're on the verge of death. I thought I was going to kill me. Because I only had 1/4, and it was supposed to take 3/4 of my heart away. What do you call a rude cactus? A prick? Tyler pushed his horse down from a ledge in Zelda. He is not helping anyone. Wait, I did not do that in Zelda. I don't remember that happening. You ride through the open gate, then carefully dismount. Why is the gate open in the middle of the night? Some of the locals greet you politely, but they keep their distance after you notice your own smell and the dirt on their clothes. Why are they out in the street noticing me? It's the middle of the night. I head to the stables. Why can't I want to wash. I want to wash myself in the river. Am I not allowed to do that? A stable master shows up soon after you step away from Duskrunner. He gives you a long glance. I'm broke. I fill the trough with water from the creek and make sure Duskrunner is comfortable. You're wandering through the village. A woman in brown robe observes you from a distance and walks away when you make eye contact. An old fisher's walking nearby, pointing at a tiny sparkling fish he's just caught. Everyone is closed. I go to the main square. Go to the inn. People are outside. Even though... maybe it's not that late at night, but... everyone is awake, apparently. I go to the innkeeper. Wait, oh, I can sleep here. This is what I need. So, okay, this is why I got confused. Because if I sleep here, I don't lose any vitality. But if I sleep at the other place... then I do lose vitality. You know, actually, I'm going to pay rent because look how much I get. My appearance goes up, my food goes up. I gain everything back almost. Well, not my vitality, unfortunately, but I'll pay rent. The shivers wake you up. You open the window and see the dense fog covering Howler's Creek, spreading like milk throughout the entire village. You hear an amused squirrel coming from the main square and spot the dancing light of torches and lanterns, yet the village remains calm and asleep. Fogs tend to get more common in late summer, but the tribes of the Dragonwoods often see them as a bad sign. The wild spirits they carry are believed to impact both the visible and the invisible, and not in ways that help humankind. Wait. The fogs that they carry? Is it the... Wait, the spirits are in the fog, not among the tribes. The wild spirits they carry. Fogs tend to get more common, but the tribes often see them as a bad sign. Yeah. The fogs are the things that cause humans to come back from the dead as undead, like zombies. I allow the fog to touch my shell and fill it with pneuma. I sigh. If there are any undead in these woods, the fog will strengthen them. I sigh. The moon is bright and so is the night. You recognize shapes of owls and bats and spot movements on the ground. There are many stories about the moon's origins and purpose, and they're older than any of the doctrines known in the cities. These legends are shared not by religions, but rather by tribes, as if they're a part of a deeper conviction, something spread through the milk of mothers and wet nurses, or through the whispers of trees and winds. See, this is one of these things I'm like, I don't know why the game is asking me to answer these questions. The moon is a powerful spirit who watches and guides humankind when we have no sun to protect us. That's why we call what's in its center the eye. I like this one. It's a home of strange animals. They are different, but as bright as humans, and sometimes visit the land. Whatever that means. I have no idea what the land is, but I assume I'm just imagining creatures coming from the moon and coming to Earth or something. Would be pretty cool. You spend the night in peace in a clean bed with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning, you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with a pie with hair and cabbage, a bowl of plums and grapes, and a cup of mouflon milk. Once you get dressed and go downstairs, a young boy is covered in mud and speaks unusually loud and enthusiastically, mentions that Duskrunner has already been brushed and watered. You nod, but he runs outside without noticing it. The innkeeper is sitting near the door, from time to time carrying out another bowl with either stew or gruel. Thace is nowhere to be seen. Pyros is sitting at a table eating gruel from a bowl. I'm gonna rest. I want to get my vitality back. I don't have any money, but I need it. Resting in the village. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait. It's getting dark and the inn is loud and crowded. The innkeeper lights up the rush lights. The workers drink and the guards are preparing for the night watch. If it wasn't for the presence of the creek and the uncanny lack of beggars, this place would feel like Havlavan's marketplace. One of the tables is occupied by a dozen or so kids. None of them looks older than 12, and the youngest one, too dirty to resemble either a boy or a girl, is about 6. They're surrounded by their playthings, a mouflon on wheels, an elegant wooden sword, and a painted board covered with rocks, but they are bored and tired. Even though you only get a glimpse of them, the oldest girl notices your attention. She springs up to her feet and approaches you with a few skips. She's already pretty tall, dressed in a worn, subdued tunic, so long that it looks like a sack. I smile and ask what she needs. She puts her hands together and puts on a grimace of playful misery. Master Roadwarden. Hearing such an antiquated salutation makes it difficult for you to hide your smirk. We're here. We here. She points at her group. Bored. Oh, so bored. She puts the back of her hand on her forehead, letting out a deep sigh. Please, master, tell us a story or two. For each traveler sees with different eyes. The last few words sound like an echo of an old tale. Fine, make room for me at the table. The children gather around and ask you for a minute for them to gather their friends and siblings. After a bit of chaos, there's 20 young souls sitting closely to one another on benches, stools, and on the ground. The red-haired twins brought a blanket to lay down on. You have a shorter side of the table all to yourself. The older kids understand your lost look in an instant. They start to hush each other, which causes an even greater amount of noise, but in the end, there are dozens of eyes staring at you with a mixture of boredom and anticipation. I could tell them a story from church. Lame. I tell them about one of my adventures exactly as it happened. Kind of lame. Tell them about one of my adventures, though. I spice it up with a couple of small lies. I like that. I tell them about Havlavlin, its splendor and mysteries. If anyone has questions, I tell them what I know. What? I don't know anything about Havlaven. All right, you know what? I'm going to tell an adventure. I want to tell an adventure story. The story takes quite a bit of time and at one point gets a bit cruel. Okay, I wouldn't have told this story to young children if I had known it was a cruel story. The youngest kid covers their eyes, which doesn't block their hearing in any way. As you get to the end, the tension disappears. The older kids clap for a bit, keeping their dignity intact, while the younger ones start to laugh and argue loudly about the best part of your tale. For some reason, two of the girls start to wrestle, pretending to be two of the characters that you just portrayed. Seeing this, the adults decide to intervene. You stand up and the children do the same to show their respect. The girl that had previously talked with you thanks you for your time. It was my pleasure. I return to my tasks. All right. There you go. Wait, am I supposed to sleep? 0 hours before dusk. Yeah, we have no money, so we'll sleep on a mouflon pelt. Hardly any light reaches the ground through the clouded sky. The deep night, as some people call it, so dark that you can't see the fingertips of your extended hand. You try to look outside, but to no avail. Even the predators will spend the next few hours hidden, unsure what surrounds their shelters and hideouts. Not all of them, though. You hear cheerful howling coming from the heart of the forest. A hunt queen, or maybe a hunt lord, has already captured its next meal. I should feel safe in such a well-guarded village, but just in case, I crawl to the window and make sure it's closed. I mean, I'm a little confused because it's supposed to be really scary, but I was literally in the Dragonwood in the middle of the night. And it was totally fine. Also, I was here at the gate. And then the guy, I was like, oh, I need to go sleep. That guy, he sleeps there. Why can't I sleep next to this guy? You know? Why is it off limits for me to sleep next to this place where this guy, am I not allowed to rough it like him? And then it was like, oh, you can go to Howler's Dell, but you're going to get attacked by wild animals and lose vitality. So I did get attacked, but that's an important thing. Like the game doesn't even tell me what happened. It's just sort of like, you can travel there, but you'll lose your vitality is basically all it was saying. But it's like, you got attacked by wild animals. I mean, the last time I was attacked by animals, it was at the shelter, and I nearly died because it was a couple of foxes. Or over here, I got attacked by that insect creature. And it was huge, and it bit me, and apparently took a bite of flesh, but not enough to make me bleed. This is why, like, this, I don't know, the story world and the storytelling is just... There are too many moments when I feel like I'm being disjointed from the story, or like it's hard for me to feel immersed, I guess. But I'm gonna. Oh wait, maybe. Okay, 14 hours before dusk. This is a good point. I'm gonna stop for this evening, and yeah. But yeah, 27. Wait, you're. Oh yeah, Vlad. 27 found his dad joke book again. Why are teachers so rude during summer? Because they have no class. Oh, hell. Hey, Omni, what's up? How are you doing? I don't normally see you here in the gaming streams. You're usually on my Tuesday Finnish language streams. But wait, you're saying Finnish Santa Claus is respectful enough to knock on the door and deliver the presents directly to the people, as the American Santa, quietly as a thief, leaves the presents and quickly up the chimney. Yeah. But that's also what's so fun about it. You know, it's like, what's the monster you don't see is scarier than the one that you do, right? Because your imagination can build it up. And so Santa, like a monster, is even more epic and cool. And when you're a kid, I remember as a kid, really just like waiting at the top of the stairs, not wanting to go to bed, because I was like, oh, maybe we'll hear him come. Like, what it's gonna be, like it's gonna be so. Maybe we could be the kids that see him. Did you ever have thoughts like that where you're like, we'll be the ones? Maybe he'll make an exception for us, and we'll be able to meet him, and he'll give us an extra gift. Who knows? But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the stream and bearing with me. I've been honest about my feelings, but I think that is good, and it helps me to enjoy it more if I'm honest about it. Even if my honest feelings are that I'm not enjoying it as much. But we'll see. I mean, things are kind of happening. I feel like we made a good amount of progress. We explored a lot. But yeah, we'll see. I'll decide later, because I feel like I have been playing this game quite a lot already, like probably close to 10 hours. And I'm kind of like, I'm not hooked by the game, and I don't know if I want to play another 10 hours just to finish it. So I'm becoming more convinced I might not want to finish the game. But I don't know. I haven't decided. I'll probably do another stream of this at the least. So yeah. Santa Claus visits in Finland when you are awake. Look. Yeah, no, it's so much more magical when you go to sleep and wake up, and then it's like Santa was here. I don't know. Okay, I'm not trying to like diss the way you do it here in Finland, but you were so scared of Santa that you forgot the lyrics of the Christmas song and sang the Itsy Bitsy Spider instead, Vlad? What? Wait. Is that also something you have to do as a kid? You have to sing for Santa? I would be terrified too if that happened. Oh man. All right. Well, we could we could talk about Santa and different Christmas traditions, but we'll save it for another stream. We'll save that for the Finnish language stream when I don't want to actually learn Finnish. So that'll be a good 30-minute rant. Nuuttipukki was actually a very mean version, who you feared and tried to keep in good spirits by offering him food. If he was displeased, he took the children behind the sauna. What? Okay, what? I don't even know. I don't even want to know what Finnish people. This is so weird. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your Friday. And yeah, I'll be back with another stream. Looking forward to it. When is the next stream? I haven't decided. Maybe this weekend, but also maybe not. It might be at the latest Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll do my Finnish language stream with you guys. So, but I might do a gaming stream before then if I have time / motivation. All right, guys, have a good one. And yeah, see you in the next stream. Goodbye.